Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 10. Thank you for making it all the way to the end. Week 10 is going to be about expert systems, and there's some interesting ideas. This is how the future of very, very simple data plus a sorting or a other kind of algorithm put to it could make something that possibly could influence people's behavior. So at the very top of this pyramid, let's go back to the beginning. If you remember this pyramid, uh, we're saying last week we worked all our way up to information, and information means something is out there, it's properly marked up, it's displayable, it's seen by computers and other people, and if it's in the language you can understand, you could probably make use of it. So that is, in a sense, you got things up to the world of content. Now, that isn't a very high bar. As we all know, there's content everywhere. So this content or this information or whatever you want to call it is ubiquitous, and we swim in seas of it. So last week, very quickly, we went up the ladder a little bit. And so if there's a few things we want to talk about from last week, and again, I know this went very quickly. It seems like very short shrift, but these are very interesting topics. So one topic is keywords, which is the idea that someone searches for something, how do they find it? And keywords and the words that are used within a uh, within a search should get as specific as possible. So that's why when you search for 18th century bathysphere repairman, you could probably find that pretty easily if you knew that's what you were looking for. And if you're looking for something like, and I'll use the example, epic coders, I had the idea that epic meant that they were like rock stars. So things can be misinterpreted just because there's only so many words and so many specific meanings that you can handle. So this experiment here, I hope that made sense. That's what we're trying to go for, is how important the words that you use are and the specificity of the words. And if I zoom into part one, we're talking about the not necessarily that could be something that you could explore about your service that you're doing for your final paper. But let's make it clear. I'm going to do a Glugian session and help you guys go ahead and I'll talk over any questions that you might have about that. So one other important thing that we looked at was ratings and how people thought of something, and that is a actual great segue. This week or soon this week, you're going to be asked to do the CTEC reviews, and that is something that I do not consider optional in this class. As we've just learned this week, what people say and think about something is how you can understand whether or not that thing is good or bad. So I know how many people there are in the class. I know how many ratings come in. I won't know who rates what, but I do want to encourage you strongly to express your views about this course. I take them very seriously. If you don't want me to do this class anymore, this is a good way to say, you know, this or that did not work for me. Please do not do it. If you did like it, please say so I can be encouraged to say, yes, these things worked or these things didn't. You might notice that my style is probably different from other people's. If you think that this style does not work for you, I need to know about it because, as I said, I believe I take a fair amount of risks. If you are familiar with where we started and where we ended up, now you look at this and you sort of see a whole patchwork of information that you never saw in the beginning, and you might realize why I moved from a somewhat plain and very understandable sort of narrative version that you get in a comment box that you get in the discussion area of Mural to this because, well, just because. And you can tell me if it worked for you or not. So the other thing we explored last week is data visualization, which is kind of a sidebar in, and I'm having trouble zooming in, but this data visualization part was there to say there's also another feeling that if you can just cram enough information on a page, you can come across as being pretty user-friendly, and you can also drive people to think that you know what you're talking about. Not necessarily true, but that does tend to work as well. So it's just two ways. One is more of a design-oriented way, and the other is more of a meta way, ratings and keywords. to say what are we talking about. And so this week we get even higher. We get into this idea of wisdom. And if you want to, not if you want to, but please go and take a look at me talking about the I Ching. It's in the lecture this week. Let me just open that up. In this lecture for week 10. Yeah, there's a movie of me doing the I Ching, so that hopefully it comes across of why that book was recommended. It's because this ability to organize at a very, very high level and offer someone what we could consider advice is very tempting, and it's the last couple paragraphs of your exploration of your service. You say, where are they going to go? And where are they going to go is trying to understand a higher level of decision making about their service. Can somebody do something that they wouldn't normally do based on the data or information that we have? And that isn't new, so the I Ching is quite old. This is the 64 things that people can do. And do you believe it? Maybe yes, maybe no. So I think expert systems are fascinating, but they're very, very ephemeral right now. We've got things like Watson. We've got some understanding that this is possible through computers, but it is a very interesting subject, one that we're going to explore briefly this week. And then that will wrap up our course. So once again, cheers to everyone for all their hard work. And I will have this Blue Jeans session. Also, C-Text will come up. Please do them. And I want to make sure you do well on your paper. So one thing that's important is always concentrate on the data structures. Remember, it happened just like the way you did it. You found or created a bunch of data in a spreadsheet, and you created something out of it that was information, but you moved it to the next level. So try to discern, how did your service move it to the next level? Did they organize it better? Did they put it in a better context? Did they format it better than somebody else did? If you have trouble discerning what they did that was better, we'll talk about it or discuss. You can post your, we're doing this in Medium, so just post your link to Medium of your work in progress. And when you're finished with your paper, just post that link to Canvas. So good luck. Cheers.